My name is Chompff-Gliddon from Tree Solutions, and I'm talking today about sustainability and the collective impact of small business. So, sustainability has been quite a buzzword for quite a few years now, but where did it come from? I'm a bit of a fan of etymology, which is the study of the origin of words, not to be confused with entomology, which is the study of insects. But we start with a verb, to sustain, and the adjective becomes sustainable, and then the noun is sustainability. And the dictionary definition is to cause or allow something to continue for a period of time. But we get further insights when we dig a little deeper into the root word and the origins. Now, so we break it down into the prefix, the root, and the suffix. The suffix is really obvious, ability, the ability to sustain. The root word tain is used in a whole lot of words like abstain and detain, pertain, obtain, entertain. It comes from the Latin word ten, meaning to hold. But the prefix is something that intrigues me a bit. So sus is used in other words like suspect, suspend, sustenance, susceptibility, and it's actually a derivative of the prefix sub, meaning from underneath or to come from under. So we can sort of define sustainability as the ability to hold from underneath. And the way that we've been using sustainability, the context that we've been using it for the last couple of years, is the ability to hold life from the earth. So how do we achieve this exactly? Now, I'm not the first person to be talking about sustainability, and I won't be the last, and I'm not the loudest, and I'm not the most influential. I am one person, taking a stand about what I believe in, because I believe in the power of one. We've been educated about the damage to the environment for decades now, and lots of changes have been made, and lots of laws have been passed, and incandescent light bulbs were banned, and then plastic shopping bags were banned, and we've set targets to cap emissions, and the reliance on fossil fuels has been lightened, and it's still not enough. We're not there yet. In the quest for sustainability, we may have made a start, but it will take more action from more people making more changes in order to get there. And this is where it comes down to you, and you, and you. Because I believe in the power of one. Every single person and every single business has an impact. As small as it might be, even if you can't see it, your choices matter and your contribution counts. So we know it's necessary to look after the earth. We know that we are living on a ticking time bomb. And if things don't get better, our way of life, our ability to exist, our home, and life on earth is under serious threat of being compromised or even destroyed. The number one reason I'm talking about this today is so that we can sustain life on earth. Have a look at this scene from Finding Nemo. Dory gets caught in a net. Nemo gets this idea that if all the fish swim down, they can overpower the net and escape. So Martin tells all the fish, swim down, swim down. You've got all, it's full of little fish that can't do much on their own, but together they swim down, and it's almost too late. But then it starts to work, and the fish in the net begin to overpower the winch. It starts straining, and the fishermen can't believe it, and the bell's going off like crazy. And then it works. The line snaps, and all the fish, including Dory and Nemo, escape safely. Or about this one, a scene from A Bug's Life. One ant, Flick, decides that enough is enough, and he stands up to the grasshoppers. Hopper wants to keep the ants under his control, so the ants will feed the grasshoppers. But when Flick challenges him, all the other ants start to see that they greatly outnumber the grasshoppers. They catch on that they have the power. Hopper realizes that the game is up, especially when Princess Ada stands up to protect Flick. And the sheer volume of the ants overpowers the grasshoppers, and they win their freedom. So can we all agree that the threat of extinction is real? We've got enough evidence to show that, right? Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. And we can do something about it. Every person in every business can do something to turn the tide. Every little contribution counts. Every little action, every choice that you make to do something better, it all adds up, it all counts. It starts with one person, and that person might have to stand on their own, but just for a little while. Someone else will soon stand with them when they believe in what they believe in too. And then a third, and then a fourth. And eventually, everyone is on board, and the people who haven't joined in are the ones left behind and standing on the sidelines. And this concept is even quoted in Scripture. Now you may suppose that this is foolishness in me, but I say unto you that by small and simple things are great things brought to pass, and small means in many instances doth confound the wise. So I say to you, your contribution counts, as small as it may seem. You can be an influence for good and help pivot the way that we do business towards sustainability. You can change the way you run your business so that you can be part of a new solution instead of being part of the existing problem. Everyone knows that we need to look after the environment, but when in running a business, we don't always know how or where to start. So I want to share a little bit of my story and how I came to be here talking to you today about sustainability and the collective impact of small business. I had been running a tidy little bookkeeping business for a long time. I started it 18 years ago when my second son was born so that I could work from home, and my employer became my first client. I was doing my little bit to contribute to the family income, and it was ticking along nicely. I was really good at it. It was fine. And then I got this idea, I can do something more. And I started about 10 years ago to explore the options that were available to me. And I'm trying and failing at lots of different things, like doing an online course for business owners who aren't numbers people, just to be able to understand their financials. And I tried doing like a research study into being organized and productive. And nothing was working, nothing fit. And then, 4 years ago, my husband of 25 years just left. Out of the blue, no warning at all, almost overnight, I was destroyed, abandoned, betrayed, broken. But as it turned out, that was just what I needed. As I'm putting myself back together, the quest to make a living is now a lot more important, and that's when I discovered coaching. So signing up to learn how to become a coach was the single most emotional business decision I'd ever made. I knew I just had to do this, even though I didn't know how. I used my mortgage money to pay the deposit on the training, and then burst into tears. I was as terrified as I was motivated and inspired. The process to learn how to be a coach means that you have to go through the whole coaching process yourself. And for me, that was transformational. It was a process of healing and self-discovery and identity, forgiveness, love, vision, growth, and it was infinitely exactly what I needed right then. I healed so much that I remarried in December 2020. So the coaching and healing process put me back in touch with my 6-year-old self, who at the time was completely in love with the earth. And I have this deep, abiding reverence for the earth. And so I've always been a hippie at heart, but this whole process brought it front and center. So now I'm working as a coach, and given my background in small business support, it made sense to focus on being a business coach. Only I had this passion for living in harmony with the earth, and it felt like my profession was a bit at odds with my passion. So in my journey to rediscover my nature-loving self, I learned about permaculture. So I signed up to the training, still not even knowing what it was, but I just knew I had to do it to be true to my authentic self. And as it turned out, every moment of every module of that training reinforced to me that this is exactly what I've been trying to do my whole life. I just never knew what it was. So, permaculture is a design framework that harnesses the power of nature to benefit human life. It uses the wisdom of ancient cultures to work with nature, not against it, and it strives to live in harmony with the earth and the natural order of things. Permaculture starts with growing your own food, but the concepts and principles and ethics apply to every aspect of life and society, including livelihood and running a business. So as I grappled with this disconnect between my profession and my passion, I began to see the business wisdom that can be found in the permaculture principles. And I developed this understanding to help small business owners, just like you, to run your business the way Mother Nature would want you to. As I continued to develop this understanding, one thing became abundantly clear, and that was that the small business sector was flying under the radar when it comes to making the change to sustainability. Governments have made commitments and passed laws and taking action towards preserving the environment, and a few corporates and big businesses as well, and consumers and households and families are all making these changes and being more discerning in the choices that they make. There are a few small businesses that focus on offering sustainable solutions, but we don't need a few businesses doing 100% sustainability. We need the hundreds of thousands of small businesses doing their 1% better. So I have now dedicated my career to promoting the movement towards sustainability in the small business sector through permaculture business coaching, developing permaculture business plans, and conducting sustainability assessments to help one little business at a time create one little change at a time. We can start this by completing a sustainability assessment on the impact that our business has on the environment. Without urgent action now, the damage could be too much and the solution too little too late. According to the Australian Bureau of Statistics, as of 30th of June 2022, there were 2,569,900 small businesses operating in Australia, and of that, 227,102 are small businesses employing 5 to 19 people. 728,759 employ 1 to 4 people, and there are 1,550,151 non-employing or micro businesses. That's a total of 2.5 million people, so 2.5 million businesses, small and micro businesses, which make up 97% of the number of businesses operating in Australia. Now, and of these micro and small businesses, 1.3 million of them report a turnover of less than $200,000. So these are small businesses, but there's lots of them. And your little business is one part of a very large sector in Australian business landscape. So you're either part of a new solution or part of the existing problem. These numbers are staggering to me. You know, little old me who lives in a little country town with less than 5,000 people. I can't get my head around it, but the numbers never lie. And this is real. So if you think that your little business is too small and insignificant to make that much of an impact on the environment, think again. You are one part of a much greater whole, and every one counts. Every small business has a responsibility to improve their impact on the environment. It's only through every business owner making that commitment and taking that stand that we can turn the tide towards a sustainable future. By completing a sustainability assessment, you can do a kind of audit through the aspects of your business and identify opportunities for making small changes that you can do now and perhaps bigger changes that you can work towards. So consider the saying, a penny saved is a penny earned. A budget-minded person goes through every category of their spending to find a small change that they can make here or there, and the overall lifestyle doesn't change that much, but the collective impact has a big difference on the money you can save. So in this sustainability assessment, you go through each category, and it's as simple as making observations and recording what you see, what you've experienced, what you know, and you consider the impact of each element using the same kind of matrix that you would for a risk assessment. Section 1 is management, where you observe the mission statement, the vision statement, the company policies, you as the owner or director, the general manager, and the general company culture. Section 2 looks at marketing, Consider the qualities of your marketing manager, even if that person is still you, just wearing a different hat. What media do you use? What is the geographical area that you service? And what resources do you need to service that area? What feedback have you received? What does your target audience think about sustainability? Section 3 covers your operations, and this is where you'll spend the most time. So you look at the role of the operations manager, which again could be you, just wearing a different hat. You consider the human resources you have, your supply chain kilometres. Consider the volume of your waste, particularly in relation to your finished product. What is acceptable? Consider the amount of water and power that you need to operate. Consider how much plastic is coming into your business and where does it go when you're finished with it. What observations can you make about your storage facilities, your inventory, procedures, processes? What impacts do defects have or mistakes on your operations? And where can you improve the skill sets of your people? Finally, Section 4 covers the finances. Consider the role of your financial controller. What is your profitability like? What budgets and targets have you set? What do you have in assets and how does this compare with your liabilities? And then finally, what is your scale of growth? As you make these observations of what is happening and how it might impact the environment, you'll find that little opportunities will present themselves. And complete the assessment by committing to action steps to move forward. You set a deadline, you follow up. This sustainability assessment is a starting point. You can go deeper when you're ready, and it has to be a solution that works for you, because at the end of the day, we still all need to be able to operate your business to make a living for your family. You may be the first or the second business that you know of to make a commitment and pivot towards sustainability by using this method of assessment. But when more people start to do the same, you will be the leader in your circle of influence. When more people start to do the same, you can create a world that works better by working together. Your contribution counts, and the impact that you make can be either part of the new solution or part of the existing problem. As we pivot towards sustainability, imagine the day when the consumer will demand nothing less than only supporting sustainable businesses. Picture the not too distant future where renewable power and sustainable supply chains and sustainable waste management becomes the norm. It becomes expected. The people who taught us how to run business didn't live in the world we have today. We appreciate everything that they taught us, but it's time now for us to redefine how we run business, to be able to sustain our life on Earth as well as making a living for our families. This process to assess your impact on sustainability will work because it just has to. There is something that even you can do, and you can start today. If you're worried about the cost of change, consider two things: the cost of not changing and having the environment collapse around you. Also, this assessment process can identify small changes that you can make which won't cost too much and might even save you money. But this thing is certain. You can no longer claim ignorance nor innocence, and the time for sitting on the fence is long gone. You're either part of the new solution or part of the existing problem, and the time to act is now. And it's not too hard, it's actually very simple. All it takes from you is to make a decision that your business can start to do something better. Ultimately, who is accountable and responsible for the way that you run your business? Before we go any further, let's have a look at what we've covered so far. The Earth is still in trouble. We've started to make a change towards sustainability, but it's not enough. It will take more people and more businesses to make more changes and make more of a commitment to be able to save the planet. The small business sector has flown under the radar for far too long. Even though each individual small business can seem too small and insignificant to matter, in reality, the vast number of small businesses operating in Australia means that the collective impact on sustainability is profound. It's huge. Permaculture provides a way to live in harmony with the Earth. Nature knows how to do things right, and we need to work with nature and not against it. When one business makes a change towards sustainability, it counts. One becomes two, and then that becomes 10, and then it becomes everyone. And you can start today by completing a sustainability assessment on your business to discover the opportunities where you can make a small little change towards sustainability. Until we meet again, plant a tree, choose the plastic-free option, and be that one person who cares a whole awful lot.